Hey, we got a big monster sunspot, and we've got a lot of other things to talk about. We got halo eruptions coming. Are they all going to hit Earth? I'm not really sure yet. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that, guys. So hang in here with me, and yeah, here we go. If you know what I'm saying. All right, guys. So what do we have here? We have got some big sunspots facing Earth, and we will just kind of jump into it tonight, guys. I'm trying to change the way that I do the little intro there, guys, just so it'll help everybody. We're just gonna kind of dive into the stuff from now on, basically. um, that's just how it works. It works better for YouTube anyway, and it's just how it is. So we're gonna go ahead and just keep going. Because somebody give me a 5 for 5 while I okay. Thank you, IG. Appreciate you. That's what I need. Hey, Miss V, I need a 100% 5 for 5 as soon as you guys get in here if you can. That way I can just keep doing what I'm doing, and we can, kind of stay focused. So that's what I'm gonna do. Hey guys, we had a really good, successful members only stream yesterday. And with that, I'm also trying to quit doing the little thing. We all have our words we go back to when we're trying to get out what we're saying. And you're going to hear me say it throughout this whole show, I'm sure. But I'm trying to limit the amount that I do that. So I'm going to try to stay focused. My last stream was very focused. And I got to give thanks to my boys over there giving me some advice. You know who you are. So thank you. Love you, brother. I love everybody anyway, but I just say that. And what I'm doing right now is actually against advice, but I do want to say thanks. So that's what we're going to do. Guys, we got some big sunspots right here, and this thing here is big. That is a monster one. And I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at that thing on Helio Viewer. So I want you guys to get a good idea of the size of what we're looking at here compared to the size of the Earth, because I think it gives us a really good perspective of what we're trying to do and trying to understand better the gravity of what we're actually looking at. And I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but when I went to the newest image right there, did you guys see this little shadow right here? That's another sunspot. We're going to zoom in real quick and take a look at it, because why do I care about this one? Well, it looks to be pretty big, number one. We got the parallax effect in effect right there too, which all that means is something when you're looking at a sphere from a distance, the things on the side are going to appear smaller than what they actually are. But this thing's rotating in, and it does look like it's been firing some flares and all of that, so we're going to keep an eye on that. There's Earth scale right there. So from this perspective, 1 or 2 Earths in that hole in a sunspot. But most likely once it gets here, it's going to be a little bit bigger. So it's bigger than what it actually looks like right there anyway. Here's another sunspot that's rotating in. 1 Earth, perfect. So let me back this off. Look at that. Okay, so right here, this really does give us some perspective of what's actually going on here with this sunspot. This thing is huge. It's one of the biggest of the sun cycle as far as size goes. Okay. Also, it's resembling other sunspots that have produced massive geomagnetic storms. Hey, Ron, thank you so much for that gifted membership. I appreciate you, brother. I'll stop here in a few minutes and say thanks to everybody on that. Anybody who got one of those, please tell Aaron thanks. So thanks again, brother. I really do appreciate that, man. I know I tell you that all the time, but it's just the truth, So we're going to go with that. Now, again, guys, that's 1 Earth right there. This sunspot's facing us, okay? It's directly in. We've had some flares and eruptions here on the front of the sun that are coming right at us. Okay, these 2 sunspots here are very active, so we're not slowing down. We're not going to slow down. We had about a day right there where it seemed to be very pretty quiet, about 24 hours worth of it. But right now, yeah. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to take you guys and show you. It's just going to be one image right here. I do want to show it to you because, yeah, that right there is what the 94 angstrom looks like. This is from SDO. This is the one I show you guys all the time. But I do want to show you the 304 right here because this does kind of give us a really good idea of what's happening right now. All right, guys, anybody that's watched me for any length of time understands that this is a very bright 304 image. What that means is we have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of energy happening right there. Okay, and it's just going to continue to erupt, and it's in the Earth strike zone. Over here on the 304, we don't typically see these big bright spots this large of an area. This is it's significant. Okay. And I'm not trying to upplay or downplay anything. I'm just telling you what it looks like. That's just what it is. I'm nowcasting for you. Now, as I zoom in here on this a little bit, and we're looking at ionized helium here, and what that does is it's just a gas that the sun has, and it gives us different. We look at different gases through different wavelengths of light, the angstrom, and it gives us different visual perspectives. So that's why we're looking at that. Now, I will say this, guys. Some of the eruptions that I'm seeing, I'm going to show them to you here in just a second, are two of them, at least, I think, are coming right at us, okay? And they are halo eruptions. Now, I cannot give you an exact anything as far as, oh, I don't know, how can I say this? How powerful something's going to be, right? I can just tell you exactly what I think is going to happen, and I don't even like doing that because I can be wrong. And so that's why I choose the Nowcast, and I know that other people are trying to get out here and just be the first one, and that's their goal. That is not my goal ever, okay? It's different than a news broadcast, because typically on a news broadcast, yeah, that's really part of your goal, but even at that, you got to try to be as accurate as you can and vet the information when we're talking about news. So that's the difference between me and something like that. But I still have to do the proper vetting here. So I'm not just going to come out and just say something, especially when something just happened. I used to do that. I'm just going to be straight up honest with you. That's exactly how I used to operate my channel. And I learned very quick that was, number one, not a very responsible way to do it. Number two, I ended up having to come back a bunch and correct. Okay? And I don't like doing that. So it's embarrassing. And it also can cause what I call the crying wolf effect. And, it's not so much that you're crying wolf, but what you're doing is you're giving information that isn't necessarily correct. And if it might be partially correct, but at the end of the day, whoever's listening to you eventually is going to be like, man, he or she's been, not really correct for 5 years. Okay? So what I'm saying is I don't want to do that. And I really do hope that you guys can appreciate that, because I try my best to just do my due diligence, and at the sacrifice of what I got to do here in my own home sometimes. I won't sacrifice family time for anything, but I promise you, there's times I have to go do things and that's just everybody. But as we look at this, we got these big, gigantic spots, bright areas here on the 304 that we don't typically see on the 304. Usually they're a little bit more dull, and if they are bright, they look more like this size. So what's all that mean, right? I mean, I know you guys are probably saying, what the heck are you, why does that even matter? Well, it does matter because that's indicating that they're either erupting or they're just primed to erupt. There is a lot of energy right there in all of these. These are very bright. I can't stress that enough. It really did take me aback just a little bit when I looked at the 304 today. This was something that I didn't expect to really see. Now it does show, and yes, the 304, if you put some contrast to it, it does give you a very good idea of where the filaments are. You see these dark areas? Those things lift off and explode out. That would be a CME. But I want you guys to understand, look at this. This is Earth scale. Look at all this. Look how big that is. To me, I just don't even know how to put it really into the correct words as far as how, I guess, I don't want to say odd or even rare, but just how important it is to understand that that's what that is, okay? And how we should really be paying attention to this, especially since it's in the Earth strike zone. What's the Earth strike zone? It's a rectangle right here in the middle of the sun. Anything that erupts there typically is going to hit. So let's just go over here to NOAA, and they've already adjusted their forecast. I can tell you right now that this did not look like this a couple hours ago. Okay, they've already put some forecasting in here for these eruptions. Now look what they're saying here. Okay, G1, G1, then it's G2, G1, G2, G2, G1. That's significant for a forecast that's 2 to 3 days out. Okay, it just is. That means that they're fairly confident that it's going to be at least that. And for me, you guys know that I don't typically go off of a 5-day forecast, and I'm not going to this time either. But this is the forecast model right here. The numbers should match up with what they got up top, and it does. So I'm going to play this model, and what we're going to look at is 2 days historic data, 2 days in the past, and then they forecast 5 days out in advance. Now, granted, I don't trust it pretty much past where this is at. I just don't. I can't trust it like that. It's just falling on its head way too many times. So what I'm saying is that it's okay to go ahead and do it out here and give us some sort of a broad idea. And I'm not taking a shot at anybody. What I'm saying is that it's a very difficult thing to do. And like I said earlier, I don't like to come out and be like, hey, I got this wrong, I got this wrong. Yes, that gives you integrity when you do that, and I will always do that. But you don't want to lean on that. You don't want to use that as an excuse to come out and be able to say whatever you want to say. You know what I mean? And I see people doing that too. And it is disheartening, but it is what it is. So, as we get through here, guys, see there's the CMEs popping right there. Okay? Now notice how you got a southerly component, a lot of southerly component here, right? Now, if you were just to look at this, you would think this was going north, right? Well, you got to understand your perspective. This is a top-down view, okay? So we're looking from the top down. This is why perspective matters, and it matters to understand what kind of model you're looking at, which is the whole goal of my channel at the beginning. I was explaining how the models work, and I didn't have the greatest understanding at the time. I had a very basic understanding, and I got a lot of things wrong, like I said before. And that's why I ask questions. I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of people around me that will answer questions when I ask that are just way smarter than I am. So that's just what I'll say. But this is just showing us east-west, okay? And when you're looking at the sun, east-west is reversed than when you're looking at a map, okay? You got to pretend you're on the sun. That's how they do it. So with that being said, this is actually west. That's sailing to the west. And then a lot of it is southerly directed. Now, I'm seeing a couple different eruptions, so I'm not going to be able to show you exactly which ones are going to be doing what, because it is, they pop pretty close together, number one. So instead of me just talking about it and showing you that, let's just go look at it. How about that? Maybe I should have done that. You know what I mean? So we'll go over here to today. Today is August 8th. All right. Also, guys, don't start thinking things are getting any kind of weirdness or anything like that. I'm probably going to start saying my name at the beginning too, because there's a lot of new people. And it's just, it's another good piece of advice. I don't do that. I never have. I've always said Blue Kool-Aid because it's my nickname, Wedge's World. I may say Wages World or something like that. I haven't really landed on it yet, but I'm trying to streamline things a little bit better, make the experience here better for you guys. Because I know that nobody really wants to sit there for 3 minutes at the beginning of a stream. YouTube doesn't like it either. So just so you know, if I'm starting my stream like a couple minutes late instead of using that warm up screen, that's why. Okay, just so you know. And there's going to be times where I do use the warm up screen, but majority of the time, no. So what are we looking at? This right here, guys, is Soho satellite. That's the Earth right there. Here is the satellite right here, a million miles closer to the sun. It is from our perspective, okay? As if you went outside and looked up. It's there. They put this tool right here is basically a CME detector, okay? So what they do is they measure it by degree width, right? So if it's 120 degrees or greater, it'll show up down here in red. If it's 60 to 120 degrees, it'll be orange. At least it's orange for me. I'm not sure how you got your display set up. But when it sees one, it'll plot it right here. So you don't necessarily have to come up here and look at the whole day. Okay? A lot of times the information will be down here and it hasn't updated up here yet. So I always check both. But with that being said, we come back here to at 1400. Now this is UTC time. Okay? If you're on the East Coast, that's a 4-hour difference. Okay? If you're on Eastern Standard Time. UTC is over in England, and that's what the whole world uses as far as the science community when talking about time. So when we're talking about that, it's important to understand your time frame too. Because when you're looking at two different models showing you two different things, if the time frames match up, it'll help confirm what you think is happening. That's why we do that, okay? Also, if they're doing formulas and things like that, any kind of math that's being involved when you have to take in consideration time, latitude, longitude, all that stuff is moving. So we need to know what time we're all using. So you can imagine what kind of a mess it would be and how many mistakes it would be if everybody used their local time. So yeah, that's why. Now, you can see what I call a halo eruption, and everybody calls it a halo eruption. Okay, so why do they call it that? Just a brief explanation. This right here is an occulter disc. It's on the satellite. It's a physical disc. It has to be there to block the main light of the sun. If not, we get an overexposed image and we get a big white blur. Okay, you don't get to see an image at all. Now this is a difference image on the coronagraph. This is what we're looking at. It's a coronagraph. It's called LASCO C2. That's the imager that's on the satellite that I just showed you. Okay? And there's multiple imagers. There's different tools, data collectors, all that kind of stuff. Okay? On that satellite. And it is a million miles closer to the sun. So we get about an hour warning when anything is coming from the sun. From that satellite. Because it's going to hit there before it hits us. Almost every time. Just because of where it's located. Alright? Now, with this occulter disc, when you start seeing the energy poke around, we're not seeing some big white blast coming off of one direction or the other, right? You're seeing it just kind of a hazy, distorted look right here. That means one of two things. It means it's either coming right at us or it's going off the backside. I can tell you that I've seen some eruptions from looking at SDO, this particular tool here, okay? And I kind of confirmed it with what I'm seeing here. So that's how we do that. We used to have stereo A out to the side. It's not out there anymore. Okay? What it is doing, it's actually closer to our planet, and it's actually on the other side of our planet now. But it's hanging out real close to us, so it's pretty much our point of view. But it is skewed just a little bit. Well, heck, I can do this. Here. It's right here. Okay? So as you can see, as far as east-west goes, stereo A is right in line. And look what it shows here on the red line. That's conditions at stereo A. It's a more intense hit. That's why. Because it's out over here. So, yeah. Hopefully that helps somebody understand what we're looking at there. But that's just one eruption. Okay? So if I back it off, let's go ahead and back that up. And let's go up here. Now, see, these are 3 hours apart. So sometimes you get an overlap in time. And sometimes it'll do this to you too. So you have to come down here. You got 12 of 13 images. So then you just hit next. And you can kind of do that. So what we'll do is right there's the start of it. Okay. So what you're looking at here is the end of that first eruption I just showed you. Okay. So we have to keep that in mind because of the time frame. So if we keep moving here, it's picking up that. That's what it's saying is the CME, and it is. Okay, but it's not a halo CME. It's just another eruption that happens on the sun. And it is going, looks like it's got a little bit more of a southerly and easterly direction here. Okay, now if I back it up and we go to the next one, okay, this is probably where we're going to see the second halo eruption. Right there. Okay, you see that? That right there is picking up that, but then we're also seeing this. This is the one, this is what we should look for. Okay? Because typically on the ones that you just see a faint halo, even if it's coming right at you, those most likely are not all that strong because they didn't spread out and explode everywhere. Right? This one here actually has a southerly direction going here, but it still gives us a halo. So that's telling you that that's a pretty good blast. All right? So if I keep moving forward here, you're going to see what I'm talking about. And then it went, then it started over on its loop there. Okay? Now, did that go into the 8th? Nope. It stopped right at the end of the day. Right? Because we are at that time frame, which is kind of unfortunate for what we're looking at here. We can go to the 8th right here, but we're not going to have any images yet. There is a lag, usually about 3 or 4 hours. Okay? It just depends. Now, we can look at stereo A. We still get to see data from it, but it's essentially what I just showed you on Soho. Okay? Or not Soho, but Lasco C2. It's essentially the same thing we're looking at here, but you can picture in your mind that you're off to the right a little bit, and that's why these things look to be going a little bit more to the left, because you've changed your position of how we're looking at it. Okay? So I would just say that. Now, let's go over here. And as I was getting on stream here, guys, we had another flare. And these are our 1s and R2 flares, okay? This one here is probably the one that produced the bigger of the CME, and that's why we're seeing this, okay? That's why they're forecasting that out like that. The time frames match up. We typically will take 2 to 3 days for a CME to get here. On the more powerful CMEs, the ones that are moving faster, and let's see what they're forecasting the speed to be. Well, yeah, that's pretty fast actually. We're looking at about 700 kilometers per second. What that means to us over here, if you want to convert that to miles per hour, for every 400 kilometers per second, rule of thumb, it's about 1,000,000 miles per hour. Okay? It's not exact. You can do the exact converting there if you want. They're all over the internet. You can just Google it and you'll see it. Okay? So what we're looking at is a speed of at least 700 kilometers per second. So that's getting close to 2,000,000 miles per hour, and that's fast. Okay? Right now, we are right here in time. This blast happened about right there, right? So we're looking at 2 days. That's on the low end of things, okay? So what I'm saying is, it's moving fast. It's not moving breakneck speed, but it's moving fast. Plus, that other halo eruption, it may not even be coming at us. I think it might have went off the back, and I'm not going to sit here and claim that yet because I'm still looking at some of the data and some of the modeling. But this is the same image I showed you guys a few minutes ago over here. So what we're going to do, we're going to come over here to SDO, right? And if we go over here to the home, let's find out where this satellite's at. Okay, it does this figure 8 pattern, stays over this part of our planet at all times. It's called geosynchronistic orbit. It is orbiting our planet at 15 degrees an hour. That's how fast it's going around us, right? And so that's why it stays over top of the same area because we're rotating around our axis at 15 degrees an hour. We're not talking about miles per hour. We're using degrees for a reason. We live on a sphere. So what happens is when the closer you are to the equator, depending on where your perspective is, but to like the center of the earth or whatever, you're moving faster as far as speed goes. So if you move from here to here in say an hour, if you're standing up here, you can move here to here in an hour. You see what I'm getting at? You're traveling more distance. So your speed, your actual speed in relation to where you're standing is actually faster. But, you know, that is what it is. It's just something I like to point out to people. But this satellite is always looking at the sun. But it always stays here mainly, and one of the biggest, I won't say mainly, but one of the biggest reasons is so it can get its data back to White Sands almost immediately. Okay? It doesn't have to like bounce it off another satellite and get it there. The data gets corrupted sometimes when they do that, but having the direct contact right there, it gives us almost real-time imaging, and that's a plus for what we do. Okay, let's back that off. Well, take us back another. Yep. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at the 94 angstrom here on SDO. We're going to let this load as I do that. Okay, so what you're going to see here, guys, is the sun's talking to itself, too. Yeah, these sunspots are communicating with each other. And what that means is they're basically just interacting with each other. You can see these two large areas here, right? They are talking to one another. You can see the plasma move from one spot to the other. These things are very, yeah, communicatable. I mean, they're talking to each other a lot here. But this is just a one-day loop, guys. You see all those eruptions? Okay, and yeah, you're going to see it shake here in a minute. And mainly because it got hit with SpaceWeather. Now, my guess is, usually when we see that, you'll get a calibration roll within about 5 or 6 hours. When the satellite gets shook like that, it has to find home again. And a lot of times, they'll have it do a calibration roll. So if you come over here and look and you see it looks like it's rolling or whatever, that's what they're doing. And it's real evident too because it's like got a hexagon shape, straight lines like this because you see the edge of the lens, edge of the camera. You'll see it. So anyway, that happens. Now, I do find it, I'm going to say this, I do find it interesting that the majority of our sunspots, and there may be a very good scientific reason for this. I just don't know what it is. If anybody knows the answer to the question I'm getting ready to ask, please tell me. Most of these sunspots are in the southern hemisphere. And that's been the case for almost a month. I'm not sure why. It might be because of where we're at in the sun cycle. Okay? The polarity flip on the sun is our sun cycle, right? So the natural progression of the sunspots is to start up here early on, and then throughout the years, they migrate towards the equator from both poles. Okay, so we get these lines of sunspots. That's just how the sun cycle works. So when they meet in the middle, there's your pole flip. That's the termination event, right? So then your negative and positive flip, and then you got the reverse polarity on these sunspots in the correct hemisphere. So whatever they are now, like when we look at the red, blue, positive, negative, I can't remember if it's in the north or south right now, but once we have that termination event, that will be reversed. So, yeah. So that happens. Now, guys, you can definitely tell that this is very active. I don't have to really say much there. It's not hard to see, okay? But what I want to show you is when you see that big bright right there, it doesn't mean that there's a CME. All that is telling you is it's most likely flaring, okay? So when we get flares, what's that do? It causes radio blackouts, right? It's here in about 8 minutes. It gets here at about the speed of light. It's X-ray. So when those get here and they go out equally in all directions, that's why if you get a flare over here, it's going to be the same X-ray production that we get if it's right here in the middle. Okay? Now, if it's just a touch behind the limb, the sun actually will block some of it. So, and I've talked about this a lot, especially when sunspots are rotating off. When we have these big powerful blasts, and we'll get like an X flare, right? So I'll go over here to SDO and start looking at it, and it really is a lot bigger than what we detected because some of the X-ray was being blocked because it was just slightly behind the limb, but it was still in a position to still hit us with X-ray. So we have to keep that in mind. It's kind of like, it's not really a parallax effect, but it's just something that happens. It's an occulting effect is what it is. The sun actually gets in between the Earth and the flare. Okay? The sun's blocking itself, pretty much. Anyway, so again, we're right here in the strike zone. Now, notice right there, too, we had an eruption right there that wasn't really from any kind of active sunspot. Here, and I'll show it to you. Hold on. Right there. Okay? Now, there was a sunspot there. Okay? But it's not very big. But it did flare. So, see how quick things can change in one area of the sun versus another? I mean, it just changed that quick. Within like a half hour, there's really nothing going on right there, and then all of a sudden, bam. Right? So, let me take us back here, and we're going to go look at the 131 angstrom. Now, remember, guys, this is all from that same satellite, and we're looking at different gases. So, when we look at these images, this is what we see. Right? So, we're able to see the flashes on this one, but we can also see some of the plasma getting erupted off. And this does help us understand if something's coming at us, how strong something is. So, I'm not going to say that both of those halo eruptions are coming at us yet. Okay? I think that first one has a chance of being going off the backside. I'll have to dig a little bit more into that. I don't want to waste your guys' time with that. And the reason why is because it didn't look to be all that intense anyway, the first one. So we got some time to talk about it. I don't have to be like, oh God, I need to get out here, run, 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 run. Just kidding. But no, I'm not kidding, really. I think it's a good practice to learn some patience. Okay? And see those right there? Look at those flares. Just back to back to back. So let me just do it like that. There was a flare. There's another flare. I feel like I'm on WWF or something. WWE. Ric Flair. Woo! Just kidding. Anyway, so you got that wham. Look at that. Right there. Okay? So that's at 1355 UTC. So if we go ahead and we take a look at SDO again, right? So if we come down here and get something close to that, which would be the 1424. So maybe that did come from that. It probably did. Okay? Because remember, see this? This is the surface of the sun. This is the occulter disk. So we got about an hour time frame there for it to travel before we see it. So it would be an hour before that when that sunspot would have erupted, and it does seem to be matching right up. So most likely, yeah, that first one's coming at us. Now the second one, what time was it? Let's go look at that. Let's back this one up. So this bigger one right there, I do think it's more powerful, okay? And I do think this is the one that is on the NOAA model, okay? So what time did that one start? About 19, what was it called? About 19 or 18. Doesn't have to be exact if you're just trying to get a decent idea of when or where it's actually coming from. So we take this and we go to that time frame. So right about, yep, see? See what I'm saying, guys? That's how we do it, right there. That most definitely is that second eruption. and it's right in the middle. Okay? Now, according to NOAA, it looks like it might be, unless that's not the CME it's talking about on the model, and it could be something different, I guess. I mean, it's possible. Let's look at the model here. It was updated about right there. Okay, so let's see here. I'm looking at this. So on the 7th of 1700 is when this model was updated. Now, see, then that puts it right on that line of when that thing erupted. Wow. Okay. It's going to be hard to... I'm not going to be able to give you an answer on whether or not that... and the reason why I'm questioning this is because we know that first one, right? I showed you where the first one happened. So it's coming at us too. Both those halos are coming at us. And we're only seeing one eruption here. So my guess is that second one is not on here yet. It could be, but it doesn't appear to be, guys. So maybe the second more powerful one, well, appeared to be more powerful, isn't here on this model yet. Because I'm not seeing two eruptions right there. I'm only seeing one. Now they were, well, maybe that is two. See what happens here? As you look at this more and more, you can, if you dive into it, and this is why you need to have patience. Because, you know, you're seeing what I do behind the scenes right now. This is how I go through things. I just try to decide if I think something's doing something from a certain time frame. You can almost see two separate CMEs right there. Okay? Not to mention, you got basically two cores here of a CME. So that might be both CMEs. And looking at this, because of the southerly direction, it looks like one of them at least is going to go way far to the south. But, you know, I'm not going to say that for certain, but I wish. Yeah, see, when we get the first images right there, it's not detailed enough to be able to see if there's one or two there. But that does look like it was on the right side. So this to me looks like the first eruption. Okay. Now, again, is it going to matter within the next day or so? No, it's not. I'll have time to get more data here, guys, and be able to look at it when they update this model again. And I'll be able to give you a more exact what's going on. Okay. All right, guys, give me a roll call in there if you would. I'd like to see where y'all are from. We're gonna, I'm gonna go over here, and we're gonna go to the second half of the show here. It's usually shorter than the first half, in case people are like, "Oh, get out of here, wages, you suck." No, I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding, but yeah. Anyway, trying to have some fun. By the way, guys, thank you to all the members that came last night. Please check out that members only stream if you're a member. If you're not a member, please consider being one. You know, Aaron just donated 5 of them, gifted them to you. So we had a good time. We watched the court proceeding, Zoom court, and we have a member here that is a lawyer of 20 years. So I didn't know that until last night, so I'm happy about that. So they'll be able to help us understand what we're looking at. And they're only like 15 or 20 minute segments of these Zoom court hearings, but we have a good time over there. I'm going to try to do a members only stream about once a week, and I'll be able to do that more often now as my daughter went back to school. So anyway, I just want to say thanks to everybody there. So where are we all from? Oops. Man, my chat backed up on me. Cape Hatteras. Love that, Sandy. Hey, Cheryl. East Coast, Florida, baby T Prada. You all right over there with all that hurricane action? Hey, Surgery, good to see you. Ilea's in the hizzy, my mod sister. Kathleen, what's up? Southeast Ohio, Pittsburgh. Mary, what's happening? Did I talk about the sun affecting our health yet? No, I have not. I know that it does, and I know that I'm not the smartest person on this subject, okay? And I am still looking at it, okay, guys? I'm trying to learn more about that. Leah sent me a link, and it's an awesome link, by the way. Hey, Trish. Wow, 4.7, okay. Thanks, IG. Hey, Texas, Mary Gunn, surgery. Now, guys, listen, I'm going to say this, too, as we move forward with this. I need to get a little bit more timing information, but I do think some of these flares happened right at the time as Hurricane Debbie was strengthening. We're seeing it more and more often. We get these big flare blasts and happen right over top of a existing hurricane, and they really do intensify very rapidly when that happens. We've seen it a couple years back with Hurricane Florence, and I forget the other one. Might have been, well, I don't want to misname it, but we had two of them in the same year, and it happened like 2 weeks apart. And both times we had a big flare hit us on the day side, right over top where the hurricane was, and they intensified like within hours. And I'm not just a little bit. I'm talking like jumping a full scale from a 2 to a 3 or something like that. It was significant. So, and we do know that happens. This is something that isn't like really disputed. I think the biggest thing is what actually is being disputed is the fact of how much it does it and what's actually being the cause of that. What is it about an X-ray blast over top of us that would make the hurricane stronger? That's more of the conversation that they're having now, I think. So I'll just say that. Okay. This is Dr. Tony Phillips' website, and you probably see this on a lot of different channels, guys. This is something that I've shown you. This is something I've shown you guys for years. This is a go-to for me. Dr. Tony Phillips does a great job. This is SpaceWeather.com. And they're talking about this storm here. Here comes the storm, right? A G2 class on August 10th. He's basically talking about the one I just said. It was launched by one of multiple explosions between Sunspot AR 3774 and 3777. So here's 3774. Well, we'll just look at it here. Okay, here's 3777. That's exactly the two eruptions I just showed you guys. Okay? And they are communicating, right? Plus 3777 is communicating with 3780. I mean, they're really communicating that far. So, yeah. Here, check this out. It says, launched by one of multiple explosions. A second CME might be coming as well. Well, that right there confirms what I just said, because I trust Dr. Tony Phillips, okay? So, what I said a minute ago, this is your first eruption. Okay? This is your second. So they're both coming at us. There's no way that one's missing. That's right in the middle. We already have a halo eruption on the coronagraph to confirm it right here. Okay? So there's no way that that's not coming at us. The question now is going to be the combination of both of those, what's going to happen. Okay? And that's something we can talk about tomorrow as I get more data coming in. All right? So with that being said, I just want to make sure, thank you, Dr. Tony Phillips, once again. I mean, see what I'm saying, guys? This is why we do things. This is why we look at everybody's stuff. And guys, please come over here and read this. I'm not going to read it to you, okay? I was kind of reading out loud there a minute ago. I was just trying to see exactly what he was saying. But I did want to show you this. This is pilot Alexander Goroshko. Witnessed the display from the air. This right here. Dan Bush of Albany, Missouri caught this. Right? He didn't see it with his eyes. But what he's seen here was a time lapse that he was doing. He was taking pictures of Perseid throughout the night. He had it on auto and it was doing its thing. But when he looked at his data, he's seen this. What this is a fuel dump. Okay? I'm not going to get into a whole lot of what that actually is. You guys can go look at that. But it's a fuel dump from a satellite or a rocket, and so I'm just going to leave it at that. I want you guys to go check it out over here if you could. Let's see here. Yeah. See what's happening here? I'm not even going to say these words, but I'll highlight it for you. Okay? You guys draw whatever conclusion you want from that. I'm not even going to get into that conversation. But if I say this and say anything else to do with anything, you can might as well just take this video and shove it in a closet somewhere, because that's what would happen. Just saying. That's why I don't say those words. And it sucks that we have to do that, but okay, whatever. I'm choosing to be here, so I can't be mad. You know what I mean? Alright, so, again, let's, one more thing I want to show you guys here is, let's see what NASA is saying about the CME, if it's even updated yet. Wow, that got real bright real quick, didn't it? Woo! Alright, well, there you go. There's that first blast right there. So NASA is agreeing with NOAA on this, okay? As you can, this is the same model. They just take different parameters into consideration. Different data weighs a little bit more heavier in one direction or the other between the two models. Well, we got a hurricane right now, right? So what's that mean? Well, we got spaghetti string models. Those never 100% agree, do they? And when they do, you better bet your booty that that's where that hurricane's heading. So what I'm saying here is both these models are roughly agreeing with each other. So I would say that this hasn't got much of a chance at all at missing completely. Okay? Now that's the first eruption, I can tell you that. It just judging by the time frame up here, if you look at the time stamps, it happened around that time. Now I know they're only about 3 or 4 hours apart, but that is not that second eruption. I can just tell you that, just from observing what the models look like. But this is a top down, this is a side cut, just like what we got here, right? But NASA's version over here, they show you a third axis point here, and this is our orbital line stretched out in a straight line. So if you can reference stereo A, the square box right here, to this, you get kind of an idea. So if you could take this circle line, our orbital line around the sun, grab it right here and stretch it out straight, that's what you're looking at here. Okay? And all three are confirming a hit. So, yeah. Hey, Renee, what's up? Hey, Daryl. So, yeah, and I do want to acknowledge this down here, too. I think everybody should be looking at this. This is a fireball report. Now, it's fairly busy right now. I'm assuming we're probably having some sort of, yeah. See, 16 of them were Perseids, 35 were sporadic, 1 alpha Capricornid. Perseids means just, it's a meteor shower, guys. Okay? So when we go through that, we get more fireballs. It happens every time. They didn't used to collect this data. They do now. But every year at the same time, we have the same meteor showers. It's just a dirty spot in space that's in our orbital line, and it was caused from past comets that would come by and just leave a bunch of their dust, I guess, if you want to use that word. But yeah, so let's what I do want to point out, though, I do want to show you this because I get a lot of questions. Now, guys, this sunspot right here, oh man, I'll tell you what I'm going to do real quick before you guys get out of here. I do want to show this to you one more time because I think that it's important to understand how big that sunspot is. So there's Earth right there. Okay? So, and it is harboring enough energy to pop X flares. It could happen at any time. So with that being in this area, we are on hypervigilant watch, basically. That's where we're going to be at for the next few days, few weeks. Okay? So with that being said, yeah, and these are already popping. Now remember, the equatorial regions of the sun it rotates faster than the pole regions because it's not a rock, okay, like the Earth is. But what that does is over time it draws that it's that sunspot line. That's the mechanism that basically pulls those sunspot lines down towards the equator through time because the equator is rotating faster. But with that being said, you're going to see these sunspots in these areas move a little faster than what's up here. Okay? So I just wanted to point that out. But if this thing was to erupt right here, this one, yeah, we're talking probably big time stuff, right? At least, geomagnetic storming probably on the level, on the low end, G2 probably. And, I can't say for certain though, right? Because this could pop little ones too. It just, they do what they want, but this is harboring enough energy that it can really give us a good blast. And that's why I'm pointing it out. Now these here, same kind of thing, but you can pretty much just say, hey, this whole line right here is primed and ready. So we're going to be watching this thing. And most people wouldn't even see that. I see it because I look at this all the time. That's another sunspot, and it's fairly big. Now, as it rotates in, are we going to have more issues? I don't know. I don't want to say issues. We're going to have more space weather. That's a better way to say it. Because it ain't always issues, guys. Sometimes it's space weather. So, anyway. Alright. Let's go back to here. I'm going to play this and let you guys see it. What we got going on here in the chat? We got some people in there donating. Love it. Thank you. Hey, Paul. Thank you. Thank you for that. Hey, Renee. Thank you for the gifted memberships. That is so awesome. Awesome, awesome. Let me highlight that one too, okay? Thank you. Appreciate you guys. That's awesome stuff. Thank you, Renee. I'm trying to scroll back up and see it so I can highlight it for you. Did I go too far? Huh. Hold on one second here. I'll try to find it. Try to find it again. There it is. There we go. I think we got it now. But thank you again, Renee, and thank you, Paul. So awesome. Thanks, guys. I really do appreciate it. Let's celebrate their third super on a live stream. Thank you for the sticker, Paul. I do appreciate that. It is very, very, anytime anybody does that, I'm humbled. And just to say that. That's really all I have to say. I'm very humbled when you guys do that. It really is. It really does matter to me. Hey, we get another one there? What we got here? Hey, Kay! Thank you for 5 more. Awesome. Guys, I want you guys to understand how much of a family we are here, right? It's a wonderful thing. I never expected that doing what I'm doing. Okay? I just never did. So, I hope you guys understand that that's where I'm at with that. That's a, yeah. I'm trying to highlight that. It's probably not even showing up, is it? Here, hold on one second. That's ridiculous, Mark. I can't believe I did that. Hold on a second. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean for that to happen like that. Let's get this to there. I'm going to fix that real quick, and we're going to highlight somebody's name. That's what we're going to do before we get off stream here, because that's ridiculous. I shouldn't do that. I thought I had it set up, but I guess I didn't. So, let's do this. Transition that over. Just click it again, see if it shows up. Is it going to show up or not? Doesn't look like it. I don't know why. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. Nope. Okay. Well, I don't know why it's not showing up, guys. I'll have to work on that. I am sorry. I don't know why it's not showing up. It's ridiculous. Unless it's just not, it should be there. That bothers me. Let's try that again. Give me 1 second. Don't go nowhere, guys. Not yet. Or unless Marf is live. Is Marf? Oh, that's why. Look at that. I didn't have the whole thing highlighted. That's stupid. Okay, here we go. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it, guys. I'm sorry. 2 months. Heck yeah, baby. Heck yeah. Love it. Love it. 2-month member, baby. Let's do that. Paste that. Okay. Guys, this is the stuff I got to do all the time, and it really... I'm sorry. I really screwed that up. So, let's start with Renee's. How about that? There it is. Heck yeah, baby. You're honored to be a part of this community. Yes, thank you for being here. We're humbled and honored that you're here. Thank you. I'm serious about that. That is a awesome thing. Paul, there you go. Love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's get down here and get oh, I went too far. Where's Kay's at? There it is. Well, I thought it was. Let's see. I could have swore. There we go. There it is. Gotcha. Awesome. Terrible Truth. There's Terrible Truth. Thank you. Love right back at you. Love it, love it, love it. Guys, I like doing that because I think it's just cool. I'm able to recognize you guys and thank you guys at the same time. And it looks pretty cool. So, if you guys like that, let me know. If not, let me know that too. Maybe we can figure something else out. But I do like to highlight it when you guys do that for me. So, yep, Marfugel's live. So, that was at 9:56. Oh, okay. I'm not sure exactly what Mark's doing tonight, guys. Haven't really seen a whole lot yet. But I don't think he's live right at this second. He could be, but I didn't get a notification. I got a notification from Marfugel News. That's his other channel, obviously. But, yeah. So, all right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and pop out. Trish, thank you for being here. You guys are awesome. Oh, Trish, if you're over on Pyre's channel tonight, Mark Pyres, guys, get over and check him out, would you? He's just an awesome dude. Makes the beat seat. It's a drum he made for guitarists, so they can play their guitar and basically drum with their feet. It's his. He invented that, and it's really, really cool. He plays really good music, funny as heck. Guys, I used to go there every night, and I don't have the time to do hardly anything except for what I'm doing right here. And obviously things will slow down, but I got in there right as he was ending his stream, Trish. I was trying to type something in, and his stream ended. I was like, daggone it. But let him know I love him, all right? Just tell him what's up. All right, if you could, because I think I seen you in the chat. It's the only reason why I'm saying that. Okay, is that what he did, Abron? Thank you for that. That's good info. Yeah. Again, I wouldn't have seen that because I'm here, right? That one there, guys, a few minutes ago, he did a 5-minute short on location. So, he lives out there on the West Coast. So, I live on the East Coast. It's dark as crap here. So, yeah, that's why it's sunny on his video there. That kind of threw me for a minute. I had to think about that for a second. But, all right, guys, keep a lookout. If anything else happens, I am trying to do 2 videos a day now. I'm going to try to do a very short one, and this is advice that I'm getting, and it's great stuff. Oh, he went live, Mir, for 5. Okay, I see. Guys, you guys can read that if you want. I'm not going to say that third or that word there. You guys know. You know, hey, Miss Dragon, good to see you. Daggone it, I keep forgetting to show your picture. I'll make sure I get over there. Hey, Josie. Hey, back at you. Guys, we had a really good time doing that. It took me a minute last night when I was doing that members only stream. And the reason why is because I hadn't done something like that, trying to play a video on a live stream in a long time. And I was getting some crazy stuff, yeah. There you go. There's Kathleen. Good to see you, Kathleen. Hey, Daryl. There you go. I like it. Femur. That's right. It's connected to my femur bone. Ain't that right? Heck yeah. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. But yeah, guys, so if you guys could, please, check out, if you are a member, if you're getting gifted memberships, please check out the members only stream. Um, we do have fun. We usually hang out for about an hour, hour and a half when we do it. And we do talk about space weather too, but I try to have fun. Because I get a lot of the space weather to everybody right here, you know. And once I get merch going, which I'm going to very shortly, you guys will get discounts and those kinds of things. So, I'm looking at getting some coffee mugs, guys. There you go. Like that one too, Joy. Hey, Jen, good to see you. Christian Piscini. All right, guys. I think I am going to go ahead and cut it off here. We've been going right at an hour, and that's about the Goldilocks zone there for everybody. YouTube even likes that hour time frame cut off there. But let me know how you guys like me doing that intro like I did it. It'll get more refined as I get going with it. When you do a live stream, you get a little bit of a lag. So I got to try to time it out when I start talking. That's why I started with that little, just that Wages World with the lightning on it. I do think it's good that I go straight into it. I honestly do. I should have been doing that a long time ago. I've had so many people get on me for that. And so many people just suggest it. And it does feel better. And I think you guys will like it better instead of a 3-minute intro. I mean, yeah. Yeah, so I got some advice a couple days ago, and it was great advice because basically I just have to think about what I do when I'm surfing the internet, right? Or surfing YouTube. If I would click on something that had a 3-minute intro, you know what the answer to that is? No. I wouldn't. So, you just got to think about things in a certain way, if you know what I'm saying. Now, I know I can shorten it, and we can do this and do that, but most likely I'll do a 30-second, like, little rundown of what I'm going to be talking about. Then I might hit you with a 10-minute, or not 10-minute, but a 10-second little whatever, and that'll put us right into the information. And that's what I'm going to try to do. And then, you see how I did it tonight where I really saved most of my thank you and all the stuff that really isn't space weather till the end? That's really the goal. So, just so you know. I'm going to be communicating with you guys throughout the whole stream. Anybody donates or gets super chats or gifted memberships, that kind of thing, when I see it, I immediately say thank you. I don't want to forget. That's why I do that, because those go away on my screen after a few minutes. But then I try to remember, and I'll say thanks properly here at the end. So, thank you guys. I really do appreciate you. Well, thank you, Trish. I appreciate that. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, thank you. Don't cut the feed. No scissors, please. Love it. The Purple Princess. Hey, I like that. I like that name. My favorite color is purple, by the way. Anastasia Pentecost. What's up? Like the little emojis. Hey, she's using. I think she's using one of our members only emoji there with the sun. That's one good thing you guys get. Yeah, no kidding, Kathleen. Anybody? Hey, back at you, Surgery. He's got some new blue paint in his hand. So, everybody tell him congratulations. It's about a week now, I think. I hadn't been surgery. Something like that. But anyway, back at you, Virginia. Back at you. Heart basket. Love it. Love it. Love it. That's awesome. All right, guys. I am going to cut it off now, though. So... And I'll give you guys an outro. How about that? We'll do a 30-second outro with my old intro. How about that? We'll do that. By the way, I cannot use my original intro. And the reason why is because the music that was on it is copyrighted now. Wasn't, is now. I had to go back over 600 videos and get those out of there. It's crazy, isn't it? But anyway, that's what you do as a YouTuber, or just being on YouTube at all. All right, guys, I'm done doing that. So anyway, God bless. If Marf does go, hey, let me know in the chat real quick before I get off here. Did Marf say he was going to go live on Marf Frugal TV or not? I know he's on location, so well, I can figure that out on my. Hey, there's another members only emoji. It's awesome. Hey, Cheryl. All right, guys. One more time. God bless. Yahusha saves, and yeah, you can drink this Kool-Aid. Thank you, Ilea. I heard that. I seen that. Thank you. He's going live later. Thank you, sister. Appreciate you.